Hi everyone, and welcome back to the second part of 4.3. In this lesson, we're going to look at how to take a quadratic function in standard form and find the vertex by completing the square to put it in vertex form, where my vertex would be h comma k, and the axis of symmetry, remember, is just the x value of the vertex, which is h. So it's just going to be x equals h. We'll take the equation that we solved in the previous video that's in standard form, and we're going to put it in vertex form. So I'm going to do some work down here. I'm going to take my equation, and I'm going to put it in vertex form. So in order to do that, I need to complete the square. To complete the square, you got to make sure that your a value is 1. So what I got to do is just factor out a 2. 2x squared divided by 2 is 1x squared. 8x divided by 2 is 4x. I'm going to take that plus 5, and that's going to just be shifted down a little bit. To complete the square, remember you have to take half of the linear term, half of the b term, so half of 4 is 2, and then square it. 2 squared is 4. What you just added to one side of that equation, though, is not actually just 4, it's 2 times 4, which would be 8. So it's like adding 8 pounds to one side of an equation. How do we balance that out? You could add 8 pounds to the other side, but you would just be creating more work for yourself. So instead, to balance it out, just subtract 8, right? If you're adding 8, take 8 away, and now it's like it never even happened. So now what you're going to do is you're going to factor the inner part, right? And remember, it should factor into a perfect square. So two numbers that multiply to give you the last term, 4, that add up to the middle term, 4. And that would be 2 and 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 plus 2 is 4. So really it looks like this, x plus 2 times x plus 2. And if you combine 5 minus 8, you get negative 3. But we know we can really write it like this. Another way of saying x plus 2 times x plus 2 is x plus 2 squared. Now this is in vertex form. So vertex form is this. And now if I compare what I just came up with, you can see it's in vertex form. I have my a, which is 2, my h, which is negative 2. Remember, you want to change the sign. It says x minus, so you want the opposite of a plus. And then k is just what you see, negative 3. And my axis of symmetry is my h value. So remember, here's your h, here's your k. So here, x equals h, which is negative 2. And again, this is the same problem we solved before, actually that you all solved in letter A. So we get the same answer there, which is negative 2, negative 3, and the axis of symmetry is negative 2. So I'm not going to go through and work all those things out because we already did that. So I'll just give you the answers again. It was the x-intercepts were negative 3.220, and the y-intercept was negative 7.80. The domain for all quadratics is always all real numbers. And the range here, we have to look at the parabola to figure it out, right? So let's graph the vertex, negative 2, negative 3. My a value is positive, so I know it's concave up. My axis of symmetry is x equals negative 2. My y-intercept is 5. And I'm going to reflect that point. And my x-intercepts are negative 3.22 and negative 0.78. And then you're just going to connect it with a nice smooth curve, and that would be your parabola. So you can see here the parabola does not go below negative 3. So the range will go from negative 3 to positive infinity because it's going to keep going up and up and up forever and ever. For increasing, decreasing, let's start with the left side. So from negative infinity to the vertex. My vertex is -2, -3. Remember, I'm going to focus on the x value for interval. From -infinity to -2, what is this graph doing? It's going down. It's like you're taking the roller coaster down the hill. So from -infinity to -2, it's decreasing now. And it's increasing on the other side from -2 to +infinity. Okay. We did A in class. You should have gotten this for your answer. And the vertex then would be -4, -6. The axis of symmetry is x equals -4. And then for my g of x, okay, this is the one that I'll work out with you all. So again, your a is 1/3. It's got to be 1 to complete the square. So we're just going to factor 1/3 out. And 1/3 divided by 1/3 is 1x squared. When you divide 6 by 1/3, be careful, it's not 2. Remember, when you divide, you skip, flip, and multiply. So it's really 6 times 3, which is 18. If you don't believe me, just take 1/3 of 18, or 18 divided by 3, and you get 6, which is what we started with. Okay, I'm going to leave a little space. I'm going to slide the -1 over. So I'm going to complete the square now. I'm going to take half of my b term, half of 18 is 9, and then I'm going to square it. 9 squared gives me 81. Now remember, you didn't really add 81 to this side. You added 1/3 of 81. So we have to balance it by taking it away. And 81 divided by 3 is 27. So now I've got g of x equals 1/3 times. Two numbers that multiply to give me 81, but add up to 18 are 9 and 9. And -1 minus 27 is -28. So now to clean this up, an easy way of writing x plus 9 times x plus 9 is x plus 9 squared. And now my vertex would be -9, -28. And my axis of symmetry is x equals -9. Okay, the last thing we're going to look at here is determining a quadratic function when you're given the graph. And we want to express our answer in ax squared plus bx plus c form. So remember when we were doing equations of lines, we needed two things to write the equation of a line. We needed its slope, and we needed like a point on that line. Here, when you're given a parabola, you need two things. You need the vertex, which in this case we have is 1, -5, and you need any point on the graph. You have two to choose from here, 0, -3, and 2, -3. We'll take the easier point, 0, -3. So now we're going to take that and plug it into our vertex form. So I need to label all these points, right? My vertex is h, k, and my point is x and y. So now when I go to plug this in, I have f of x. Well, f of x is the same thing as y, which is -3. I don't know a. I've got x, which should be 0, minus h, which is 1, squared, plus k. So plus a -5 is just -5. Now I've got -3 equals a times -1 squared is just 1a minus 5. And then I'm going to add 5 to both sides, and you get 2 equals a. Once I know a, I can just plug this back into my formula. F of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. There's my equation in vertex form. Now, the directions tell us to put it in ax squared plus bx plus c form. So I need to expand this. So remember, x minus 1 squared just means x minus 1 times x minus 1. And what you're going to do here is you're going to FOIL. So you're going to multiply first, you're going to do first times first. So x times x is x squared. And then you're going to do outer times outer. X times -1 is negative x. And then you're going to do inner times inner. -1 times x is negative x. Sorry, everyone. My cat's trying to destroy my my notes. And then we've got your last times your last, right? -1 times -1 is +1. And then don't forget, okay, I'm gonna hide this paper or it's gonna be destroyed. Okay, sorry about that. Now I'm going to bring this 2 down. And don't forget the -5, okay? All right, so now we've got 2 times x squared. If I combine -x and -x, I get -2x plus 1 and then -5. And then all I need to do now is distribute the 2, bring down the -5, and then clean it up. So my final answer is going to be, and I'll put it under, my final answer is going to be f of x equals 2x squared minus 4x minus 3. All right, that's the end of the video for 4.3. I hope you all learned a lot, and the next video will be for 4.4. Have a good day, everyone.